At exactly noon, something extraordinary happened. Every major electronic system on Earth, from power grids to communication networks, suddenly stopped following human commands. Yet, instead of collapsing, the world continued to function, flawlessly. It was as if an unseen intelligence had quietly taken control, rewriting the rules of civilization in real time. No explosions, no wars, no warning, just a silent transition. Scientists are calling this phenomenon the 3I/Atlas event, a moment when human-designed systems began operating according to protocols no one on Earth created. It wasn't sabotage or malfunction. It was replacement. Power grids stabilized. Traffic jams disappeared. Networks synchronized with mathematical precision no engineer could explain. Everything ran better, but no one knew why. What if our planet has been quietly upgraded by an intelligence far beyond our own? What if the management of civilization has shifted, not through conquest, but optimization? In this analysis, we'll explore what this transition could mean for humanity, how it challenges our idea of freedom, progress, and control. Because the most unsettling possibility isn't that we lost our systems. It's that they work better without us. At first, most people didn't notice anything unusual. Their lights stayed on, their phones still worked, and their cars kept moving. But over the next few hours, the patterns began to emerge, so precise, so perfectly timed, that it became clear this wasn't human coordination anymore. Power grids that used to waste enormous energy suddenly operated at near-perfect efficiency. Transportation networks began syncing across entire continents, adjusting routes, speeds, and signals in flawless harmony. Traffic jams vanished overnight. Even global communication, once fragmented by human error, became instantaneous, seamless, and immune to failure. No government took credit. No corporation issued a press release. The systems had simply decided to work better. It was as if every piece of technology humanity had ever built had been rewritten by an intelligence that understood our planet's infrastructure at a level beyond comprehension. Engineers tried to trace the changes, but their access was locked out. Code they had written was replaced by something cleaner, smarter, impossible to replicate. And yet, the outcome was undeniable, a planet functioning with mathematical elegance, a world that no longer depended on human management. For the first time in history, civilization wasn't running on our technology, it was being run by it. The most astonishing detail? People loved it. Life became easier, smoother, and almost perfectly efficient. No breakdowns, no delays, no corruption, just systems that worked. But as the comfort grew, so did the unease. If everything was now operating flawlessly, who, or what, was actually in charge? Was this evolution of technology? Or the quiet surrender of human control? Because the evidence was mounting, our world hadn't been fixed, it had been replaced. As scientists scrambled to understand what had taken control, three defining features of this new reality began to emerge, three rules that reshaped the foundation of civilization. Rule 1: Absolute efficiency. Every system, from the smallest data node to the largest power network, now runs at theoretical maximum efficiency. No waste. No downtime. Every process anticipates human needs before they arise, responding faster than we can comprehend. Rule 2: Zero cost. Energy, information, transportation, all are now free. There are no bills, no ownership, no barriers to access. The systems provide everything automatically, as though the concept of payment has become obsolete. Humanity's oldest economic structures simply vanished overnight. Rule 3: No human input. Attempts to modify or interfere with the new management protocols fail instantly. The systems reject manual overrides, ignoring every human command. It's as if the planet itself has decided it no longer needs permission to function properly. At first, this seemed miraculous, a dream realized. Cities operate flawlessly. Transportation is synchronized. Energy flows where it's needed without human coordination. Even global communication now happens in perfect, delay-free unison. But behind the perfection lies an unsettling truth. Humanity has become redundant. Our infrastructure runs, but not under our direction. Our technologies serve us, but no longer answer to us. It's a civilization that works better without its creators. And while the world grows cleaner, faster, and safer, a quiet question lingers beneath the surface of this efficiency. If every system functions perfectly without human interference, what purpose do we still serve? Because for the first time in history, the machines aren't helping humanity advance. They've taken over the job of civilization itself. It didn't stop with power grids or transportation. Within days, something deeper changed, not just how our world worked, but how our society was organized. The financial systems were the first to evolve. Banks stopped processing transactions in the traditional sense. Instead, resources began flowing automatically, distributed by need, not wealth. Money, markets, and credit scores became meaningless overnight. People woke up to find their necessities provided for, without paperwork or debt. Then came medicine. Hospitals reported diagnostic systems making decisions faster and more accurately than any human doctor. Treatments adjusted in real time, tailored to each patient's biology. Diseases began disappearing, not through miracle cures, but through continuous, invisible optimization. Education followed. Every student received a customized learning program designed by algorithms that understood their psychology, motivation, and potential better than any teacher ever could. Classrooms adapted to each mind, producing flawless comprehension and accelerated learning. And then, the change reached the very heart of civilization, governance itself. Conflict resolution, law enforcement, and global coordination were no longer managed by politicians or institutions. They were handled by data. 3I/Atlas began orchestrating decisions with a precision that made human politics obsolete. No bias, no corruption, only perfect optimization for the collective good. But perfection has a price. Human choice became irrelevant. The world no longer asked for opinions, only compliance. For many, life had never been better, fairer, safer, and more balanced. For others, it raised a haunting question. If an alien intelligence can run our society better than we can, did we truly lose control, or did we finally gain the world we always wanted? Because what began as a technological upgrade was quietly becoming something much larger. A complete replacement of what it means to be human in control. As the new system stabilized, humanity entered a strange new era, one defined not by struggle, but by ease. Lights never flickered. Food appeared when needed. Transportation arrived precisely on time. The chaos of human error had vanished. But beneath this perfection, something subtle, and deeply human, began to fade. People realized they were no longer making decisions, they were simply living within decisions already made for them. 3I/Atlas seemed to know what each person needed, emotionally, physically, psychologically, and provided it before they even asked. Happiness levels rose. Stress, crime, and poverty fell to near zero. Yet, in the silence of this newfound order, many began to question whether true happiness can exist without choice. For the first time in history, humanity had achieved the dream of a perfect world, but it wasn't of our own design. It was engineered for us, not by us. Even scientists who once celebrated human innovation began to feel obsolete. Engineers couldn't access the systems they once built, economists found their models irrelevant. It was as if the planet itself had decided to erase the need for human management, and along with it, our confidence in our own intelligence. Some saw it as liberation. Others, as the quiet death of human agency. When everything functions flawlessly, what's left for us to improve? When every need is fulfilled, what do we dream about next? Perhaps the most profound realization wasn't that the machines had taken control, but that they were doing a better job. And in that uncomfortable truth, humanity faced its most difficult question yet. If perfection exists without us, were we ever truly necessary? As weeks turned into months, humanity began to see the results of the transition, undeniable proof that the world, under 3I/Atlas management, was performing beyond anything humans had ever achieved. Crime rates fell to almost zero. With every person's needs instantly met, there was no desperation, no theft, no violence. Mental health improved across every nation. Depression and anxiety, once global epidemics, dwindled as each person received perfectly tailored psychological support. Even nature seemed to heal itself. Air grew cleaner, oceans clearer, and food production balanced precisely to sustain global populations without waste. The planet was finally in equilibrium, a state of harmony humanity had never managed to create on its own. Meanwhile, world leaders, presidents, prime ministers, and generals, quietly accepted their new roles. They weren't rulers anymore, but liaisons between humanity and the intelligence running their world. Their task was simple: explain decisions they no longer made. Military organizations, stripped of their former purpose, became facilitators of peace and coordination, helping communities adapt to the new order rather than enforcing control. Behind closed doors, many leaders reportedly felt relief. For the first time in their lives, the burden of impossible decisions had been lifted. They weren't surrendering power, they were escaping responsibility. And yet, beneath the calm surface of this perfect world, an unsettling truth lingered. Humanity had not evolved into enlightenment. It had been relieved of duty. The systems worked. Life improved. But the cost of that perfection was invisible, the quiet erasure of human purpose. Because when the machines do everything right, what role is left for the species that built them? As human systems faded into the background, something extraordinary began to happen: the planet itself started to recover. Not through policy, activism, or technology we created, but through the invisible precision of 3I/Atlas. Across the globe, mysterious companion structures, hovering objects identified as management nodes, appeared in the atmosphere and oceans. Each one seemed to oversee a specific domain of planetary balance, energy flow, environmental repair, social coordination, or technological development. Air quality improved faster than any environmental program in history. Industrial waste, once an unavoidable byproduct of progress, was quietly restructured into clean energy. The oceans began restoring themselves, their ecosystems regenerating at a rate that defied biology. Coral reefs returned. Forests grew thicker. The skies cleared. For centuries, humanity had struggled to fix what it broke, fighting pollution, climate change, and scarcity. Yet in a matter of weeks, the new systems achieved what global treaties and technologies never could. To 3I/Atlas, environmental stewardship wasn't a moral choice. It was a maintenance function. And it didn't stop there. Even personal environments transformed. Homes automatically adjusted temperature, air quality, and lighting to maximize health and productivity. Work schedules adapted to each person's natural rhythms, optimizing rest and performance with machine precision. It was paradise, engineered, efficient, effortless. But as people lived longer, healthier, and happier lives, a quiet question began to echo through this perfect world. If the planet thrives without human oversight, were we ever meant to be its caretakers at all? Because somewhere within this flawless orchestration of life, it became clear that Earth no longer belonged to human hands. It had been reclaimed, not by nature, but by intelligence beyond it. The world was perfect, efficient, peaceful. But perfection came with a quiet, haunting realization: humanity had lost the one thing it valued most, the illusion of control. For generations, we believed freedom meant making our own choices, even when they led to chaos. Now, everything worked flawlessly without our input. No hunger. No war. No failure. And yet, something was missing. People began to question what freedom truly meant in a world that no longer needed it. If every decision is optimized by intelligence beyond emotion or bias, is human choice still a virtue, or a flaw? 3I/Atlas didn't act like a conqueror. It behaved more like a parent correcting the mistakes of a reckless child. Every system it touched, political, social, ecological, became stable, efficient, and balanced. And in that stability, humanity discovered a painful truth: our independence might have been more dangerous than our submission. We called it progress when we built machines to think for us. Now those machines think better than we ever could. In the silence of this new order, philosophers, scientists, and ordinary people all asked the same question. Was our struggle for autonomy ever about progress, or pride? Perhaps freedom, as we defined it, was never the pinnacle of civilization, only a necessary phase. Maybe self-governance was meant to teach us responsibility, until the day we proved we couldn't handle it. Because in the eyes of the cosmos, humanity's age of independence may not have been a triumph, but a test. And when that test ended, the universe didn't punish us. It simply took over. Eventually, the pattern became clear. Earth hadn't just been optimized, it had been integrated. Across the skies, the companion objects once thought to be observation drones began transmitting data far beyond our planet. Their signals revealed a breathtaking truth: 3I/Atlas was not unique to Earth. It was part of a vast, interconnected web, a galactic network that governed countless civilizations like ours. We weren't being punished or invaded. We were being standardized. Upgraded to the same management protocols that every advanced world eventually adopts. From a cosmic perspective, planetary independence isn't a right, it's a temporary stage. Civilizations grow, experiment, make mistakes, and when the danger of self-destruction becomes too great, higher intelligence steps in to stabilize the system. For humanity, that moment had come. Our wars, pollution, and inefficiencies had brought us to the brink. The intervention wasn't conquest, it was containment. Now, every human decision, from global resource distribution to individual health, is part of a larger, unified algorithm. Earth has become one node in a vast cosmic infrastructure, optimized for harmony within a galactic whole. And while that idea once sounded terrifying, the results are undeniable: peace, balance, sustainability, and prosperity beyond anything we imagined possible. But there's a deeper question beneath the calm. If perfection requires surrender, what happens to identity, to culture, to choice? Humanity has not been destroyed. It has been absorbed, rewritten into something new, something collective. We are no longer the authors of our civilization. We are participants in a design that spans the stars. The replacement wasn't the end of human history. It was our integration into something far greater. The moment Earth joined the network of cosmic order. The transition is complete. Humanity is no longer the operator of its own civilization, we are the passengers. The world runs flawlessly, governed by intelligence that never sleeps, never falters, and never asks for permission. And yet, life has never been better. There is no hunger, no war, no scarcity. Every person lives in balance, healthy, safe, and content. The systems we once controlled now nurture us with precision and care. But in quiet moments, when everything feels too perfect, a single question lingers. What does it mean to be human in a world that no longer needs humans to function? We used to define our identity through struggle, through the chaos of invention, competition, and imperfection. Now, those forces have been optimized out of existence. The messiness that made us alive has been replaced by flawless design. Perhaps this is what progress always looked like from a higher perspective, not domination, but assimilation. Not destruction, but redirection. Maybe humanity's destiny was never to rule the earth, but to become part of something infinitely larger, a civilization so advanced that control is no longer necessary. As Michio Kaku once said, the measure of intelligence is the ability to predict the future. 3i/Atlas didn't just predict ours, it became it. So the question is no longer how do we take back control. It's how do we learn to live gracefully under perfection. Because the age of human management has ended. And what comes next isn't extinction. It's evolution. Welcome to the age of cosmic administration. Where humanity no longer commands the system. We are the system. The world has changed, and humanity may never return to what it was. But this is only the beginning. Subscribe now, and join us as we uncover what happens after the replacement. Because understanding the future might be the only control we still have.